Overseas weapons sales by the United States have hit a record high.
The U.S. is hugely hypocritical in this regard because they've long been the largest arms dealer, and most of those weapons that the U.S. has sold historically, more than $400 billion worth since the 1960s, have gone to the Middle East, and you can't argue seriously that it's made that region any more stable.
A military expert that we know, he described the situation as the wickedest problem you could possibly imagine.
For all of us who have been overseas, the duplicity and hypocrisy of American foreign policy is painfully evident.
According to the report, some 30,000 firearms were seized from criminals by Mexican officials in 2008. Out of these 30,000 firearms, information pertaining to 7,200 of them was submitted to the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, or the ATF, for tracing. Of these 7,200 guns, only 4,000 could be traced by the ATF, and of these 4,000, 87% were shown to have come from the United States.
Black market is not just for like the cartel sells like drugs and like people and like illegal goods and stuff.
They say there isn't an international embargo on arms preventing them from doing that. That is a fact, but that doesn't change the immorality of supplying a dictatorial regime that is killing its people in massive numbers every day, and we are deeply concerned about that.
In Pakistan, one small shop can produce 100 weapons a day to be sold into the black market and used for warfare and other rebel activities. I'm not really sure what the black market really is. I just heard like rumors and stuff in like movies and like on the news.
There are over 925 million small arms in worldwide circulation. Around 1 in 8 people are armed today. Illegal arms account for 60% of civilian casualties in global conflicts.
The United States has criticized Mexico for decades over its inability to stop the flow of products into U.S. territory. For the past several years, Mexico has responded by blaming the guns coming from the U.S. for its inability to stop the drug trafficking. In this context, there is a lot of incentive for the Mexicans to politicize and play up the issue for guns coming from the U.S. and north of the border. There are U.S. gun control advocates who have vested interested in adding fuel to the fire, and gun rights advocates who have interest in playing on the number.
In this area, this weapon is used as a credit card. When you have it, you have the power.
October 9, 2003. I support this dream through the launch of the International Controlled Arms Campaign, which calls for governments to control the trade in weapons and provide community safety and human security for their citizens through the ATT.
I'm 17 years old, but I have lost my mother with these guns, with this kind of guns.
Yeah, this problem needs to be taken care of. It's not a big outspoken issue, but it is an issue affecting every country and many lands too. And it's affecting the world economically because all these mini wars are being handled by bigger governments who have to spend money to stop this.
To stop this transfer of arms that can be used to commit atrocities, and equally respect to the countries that heeded that call.
As Amnesty International has campaigned for arms trade treaty, and the time is now.
Those in favor, please signify. Similarly, those against, please signify. Draft Resolution A/67/L58 is adopted.
On May 15th, Assistant Secretary of State Thomas Countryman stated that the U.S. would sign the UN Arms Trade Treaty in the very near future. The treaty opens for signature at the United Nations on June 3rd.
This treaty is going to have a massive impact. It's going to save millions of lives.
It's a real tribute to civil society that they made the call on states to stop this transfer of arms that can be used to commit atrocities, and equally respect to the countries that heeded that call.